Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and Foreman Douglas Scoundrels, and today we're assembling... I don't have a box for this. We've got the English Ivan core box here. Just trust me that this is the English Ivan core box. It's called the English Ivan core box. You can look up what it looks like. Sorry, I don't have all the stuff in front of me. But it's fairly easy to assemble, I believe. I've assembled it before. So needing the renders is not going to be that important. I think you just got a few small bits you gotta make sure you don't snap in half. But we've got 7 models this time, interesting enough. We got English Ivan here, our master, and then his totem, not Mr. Mordrake, Mr. Mordrake, and then Eva Havenhand, 3 Daeva, and I am missing. Not missing, just blind. Here's Gibson DeWalt, the henchman. So we'll do Ivan, his totem, Gibson, Eva, and then the 3 Daeva. Alright. We return to the English Ivan sprue. I'm going to grab the body, the back half of the body, and the front half of the body, then the right leg, followed by the left leg. I think that's right leg and left leg. And then right arm, left arm, right arm, left hand, and then the head. Alright, so grab F1 and F2. F1? Sorry, this is F2, my bad. Okay, fully admitting I was wrong, my bad. Again, we're gonna do F7 and add that to F2, and then F8 and add that to F2 before we put F1 on. Just because F1 is gonna cover up enough of the connection point, it's gonna be a little bit harder to snap that in there than just doing it now. So grab F7, and we're going to add it, right there. There we go, now just add F8 right there. Okay, now there's F8. Now we can add F1. There they all are combined. Now let's grab F4, his right arm. Now he is tipping his hat, but I'm pretty sure you can fit the head in there without it being... I believe he's actually holding part of the hat brim. Double check his sprue. Yeah, you can see a chunk out of the hat brim. So why don't we just go ahead and add F5 on now? Yeah, it went fairly well. I think you can do it in either order. Just gotta make sure you got the nice little head tilt going in there, and then those 2 bits, you know, connect very well in there. You can't really see a seam, but yeah, that's the angle of the head you're looking for. But now let's just do F3, the left arm. Easy peasy. Now our last bit, F6, the hand and cane. And there we go. Just check against the render that I don't have for wrist placement and make sure that it's pointed correctly. Well, the nice thing is that it's got flames on it, so flames are going to need to be going up a little bit. So keep that in mind. English Ivan is done. Hardest part is realizing that you got to do the legs before the front part of the coat, and also making sure that the hand is completing the brim of the hat and they're all connected correctly. Well, I guess putting the hand with the cane on it also was slightly awkward, but nothing I'd really call difficult. Now let's move on to his totem, shall we? Dope, Mr. Mordrake is our totem. We're actually going to combine G7 and G4 together first, and then add them onto G1, and then we will combine G5 and G3 together, which is going to be his left hand. Then we'll grab G2, which is going to be our right arm, and we'll finish with G6, which is our head. Alright, put our legs together. G7 plus G4. Now let's grab G1. Oh no, jam those 2 legs in there. Cool, now he has legs. Now let's grab G2. Alright, G2 is going to be our right arm. I got the order mixed up from what I initially said. It's going to go right there. Well, it's kind of difficult to get in there just because it doesn't sit quite right, and the flow of the coat is kind of in your way from being able to really press it into place, but we got it. So we're good. Now let's grab G5. Now let's slap G3 on there. Okay, now that we have a botanical hand, let's put it on the body. Alright, now let's finish him up with the head, G6. Cool. Let's get him on a base. Mr. Mordrake is complete. Hardest part for me was honestly getting the right arm gave me some weird troubles, but that's probably just me, and hopefully not too difficult a thing for everyone else. Pretty simple model overall, just a noodlier version of Ivan. Yeah, let's get started on the other named models. Next up is our henchman. Here is our lovely science man, Gibson DeWalt. Let's grab the body, like always. Do both legs. Then we'll go and slap this tank on his back. We'll assemble both parts of the mechanical firefly. We'll connect it to his chest, which really is right there. Then we'll do the right arm, which is holding it, and then the left arm, which is got a screwdriver doing screwdriver stuff to it. And then when we can do the head last. So let's grab D2 first. Let's add D8, the right leg. Now D6, the left leg. Looking good. Now let's get D4 and D5 and combine them, both halves of the firefly. D4 and the added D5. Now, two things to keep in mind. The wings are pretty fragile. Don't bend them, but also you see this tiny little peg here, and it kind of looks like flash, but that is actually the actual screwdriver part of the screwdriver that he is holding in his left hand. So if you look at the bit of his left hand, he's only holding a handle, and that's going to connect right on there. So just remember where that is. Now, I believe back here, whoops. Let's see if we can grab him. There is a connection point right here that is going to connect to right here on his torso. Is that a connection point? That sure is. Okay, let's put that there. Now the connection isn't entirely solid, so let's add D3, the right arm first. Nice and snug. Besides the shoulder, it also connects. There was a big old chunk of a groove right here that the arm slotted into, and the hand will be touching the sort of head of the firefly. So now let's do, what is his left arm? D6. I think that's or D5. I don't. That arm. D6 or D5. Or maybe even D7. I don't. D7. That's on. Yep, and just try to get the handle of the screwdriver onto that peg I pointed out before, and just try to make it look as straight as possible. I forgot about the tank thing on his back. Whoops. So let's go ahead and add that now, which is D9. So to determine which way it goes, you notice that there is a groove for a tooth down here, as well as a tooth up here. So if we look at our bit, you see that tooth for the bottom groove, and then where that notch goes up there. So we're looking on it and going on the model like that. Great success. Now D1 the head, and we're done. There we go. Put him on a base. Gibson DeWalt is done. Just a series of slightly uncomfortable assembly things. The pack on the back was slightly awkward. The firefly is slightly awkward to get it angled on the chest before you put both arms on, but I still think that should be your first step before you put the arms on. And just making sure the left arm is aligned. All just slightly more awkward than you would expect, but nothing impossible. Just be careful of the tiny, fiddly, fragile bits. You should be fine. Now let's move on to Eva. Eva Havenhand, the face of this operation. Knocking shit off my finger. I broke something. It's okay, it was just a survivor. I'm sure he'll be fine. Gonna grab the body. For funsies, we'll do the back of the head right away. And then we'll do the left leg, the right foot, the left arm, the right arm, and then connect them with this piece, which is probably going to be the hardest thing, maybe in this box. We'll see. So let's get E1 and then add E5. Got E1, now to add E5, the back of the head. Yeah, that's definitely the back of her head. Now let's turn around and we'll do E4. Whoops, the left leg. Goodness. Leg. Now E3, the right foot. And again, another simple connection. Now E6, the left arm. Yeah, she's kind of holding it behind her almost. Alright, let's do E2, the right arm. And yet again, another easy connection, but now we've got to connect the two, and that's going to be slightly harder. Also, just be careful that the whip is going to be pretty fragile. Just be gentle. Let's grab E7, and I'll figure this out. Alright, so we're looking at a connection that's going like this. So remember that. But our most solid connection point is actually going to be on our palm back here. Excuse me. You can see that connection point right there, which is where the rope's going to go. Looks like I need to fix her leg a little bit. But we'll try gluing it there first and then gently nudging it till the other end gets to here. We should be good. You can see I've got it glued onto her hand, and it's not connected right now, but it will be easy enough to put some cement on the end of the handle to her whip and then move that guy up there. So I guess I can just put some glue on it, and we'll put her on a base after this dries. Ta-da! Also, you can see how this wraps around her body, and I didn't see any like grooves for connection points, but you can tell that there are spots where you can actually glue the whip down to her body. So let's just do that to make sure things are secure. Alright, now we get her on our base. Eva's all done. One very difficult part to it, and that was it. That's the whip connecting from the handle to her right hand. Showed you how that's supposed to work, especially since it's hugging her body. It's actually not too hard to figure out how it's supposed to go. Just a little bit of fiddling, and you'll be fine. Now let's move on to the minions, shall we? We are on to our minions, and they're pretty easy. Let's go ahead and just start with our first Daeva. This guy who's only 4 bits, so we'll grab the body, then add the right arm, left arm, and then the head. Pretty easy. Grab A4 and then start with A1 after that. We have A4 now, add A1, the right arm. Yeah, actually the angle would be pretty hard to figure out, I think, if you didn't have the render or this video to reference, but I do, so it's on correctly. Now let's add A3, the left arm. Alright, and do A2, the head, and we're done. Easy peasy, let's base him. Daeva number 1 is done. We're gonna call him Mr. Young. Yeah, I guess the arms were the hardest part. That's about it. Really, that's about it? Let's move on. I just realized I've been holding this upside down. I tried to put the name on the top, if at all possible. So, we're on to Daeva 2. One more bit than the last one. Still probably super easy. We'll grab the body, slap the legs on, then the right arm, left arm, and head, like usual. So, get B1 and B3 out first. B1. And added B3 the legs. Now grab B4, the right arm, put that on. Okie dokie, B4 is in, now B2, the left arm. So gangly. B5 the head. Yeah, now done. Daeva 2, get him on a base. Daeva number 2 is done. We're gonna call this one Maxwell. Hardest part, I guess, was the left arm. For some reason, I accidentally nudged that out of the place. That's literally it for difficulty. Yeah, really. Let's keep going. Third and final Daeva. Let's go. Let's grab the back half of the torso / code C4, add the legs onto that, and then sandwich the legs with C1. Once we're done there, usual right arm, left arm, and hat. Okay? So clip out C4 and C3 first. Alright, C4 first, now add C3 the legs. Now add C1 on top of this. Very tall. Alright, C5? C5 the right arm. Alright, and now C2 the left arm. There are very obvious grooves where these arms are supposed to go, so I didn't feel the need to show you exactly how they connect. I believe you can figure that out on your own. So as far as the hat, there's no real good significant identifier of how it's supposed to go on either this way or this way. And the render isn't that much better. However, the render does make it look like the more significant edge is towards the back of the head. So if you'd see here, there is a more significant groove down here than it is up here. So I'm going to put the hat on like this. Easy peasy, base, and we're all done. Daeva, number 3 is done. We're going to call this one Einstein. Hardest part was figuring out the orientation of the hat. The rest of it went together really easy. But let's look at the whole box now. English Ivan core box is done. We have English Ivan, Mr. Mordrake, Gibson DeWalt, my bad, Eva Havenhand, and 1, 2, 3, Daeva. Easy box, with the exception of Ava's whip and Gibson's Firefly. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. But a lot of humanoid characters with not too many difficult parts to them. So, lucky you. I don't think you're going to have as much ease with the other Umbra box, but we'll see. Hint on what's coming up next. But anyways, I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.